straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right, on the show today, China's Grandmaster Ding Liren, ahead of that most anticipated clash against India's D. Gukesh, has come out openly admitting that he is worried he will lose badly to the young Indian chess prodigy. I show you the contrasting journeys of the two finalists. Will Liren be able to get his act together in time for that massive face-off? Saudi Arabia continues to make giant strides in sporting dominance, even as voices continue to raise criticisms of their methods. Tennis star Coco Gauff, though, has come out in support of Saudi, saying that's the best thing that's happened to tennis in a long, long time. Is that what the ground reality in Saudi says? We'll tell you more on that. And Jose Mourinho has had it with the standards of football in Turkey. He's livid on the refereeing standards, also makes a scathing remark on his team management, Fenerbahce, withholding the truth. More on that in the show, but first, a look at the headlines.
Starting with cricket, Afghanistan beat Bangladesh by 92 runs in an ODI encounter. Batting first, Mohammad Nabi's 84 helped Afghanistan post 235 on the board. In reply, Bangladesh were bundled out for 143 as Allah Ghazanfar took 6 wickets. The 18-year-old spinner Ghazanfar was the player of the match. Afghanistan are leading the 3-match series 1-0. Moving to football, Inter Milan secured a 1-0 victory over Arsenal in the Champions League. Hakan Çalhanoğlu scored from the spot to give Inter Milan the lead. Arsenal failed to equalise despite getting 14 corners in the game. This was their first loss in the tournament this season. With 7 points, Arsenal are 12th on the points table. Over in tennis and the WTA Finals, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka suffered her first defeat since the China Open exit in October. Elena Rybakina beat Sabalenka 6-4, 3-6, 6-1 in a group stage match. Despite the loss, she is qualified for the semi-finals. Algerian boxer Imane Khelif will file a lawsuit over media reports allegedly detailing her leaked media reports. Reports in France questioned Khelif's gender because of her biological traits. The International Olympic Committee, or the IOC, said that the Olympic gold medalist is preparing a lawsuit in response. And summing it up with news from basketball, Los Angeles Lakers' poor season continues after suffering defeat against Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies' team effort overshadowed LeBron's 39-point game. In the end, Lakers lost the match 114 to 131.
Jose Mourinho's roller coaster ride in Turkey with club Fenerbahce continues. But with every passing day, the special one comes up with special ways to express his discontent towards the Turkish league. At times, it's the standard of the league itself. On most occasions, though, it's the refereeing standards that riles up the Portuguese manager, so much so that Mourinho is now regretting his decision of coming to Turkey and has blamed Fenerbahce for not telling him the full truth.
I blame the Fenerbahce people that brought me here. They told me only half of the truth. They didn't tell me the whole truth. Because if they tell me the whole truth, I won't come.
We know Mourinho has the taste for drama. He loves it. He can make seemingly serious accusations come out quite funny. But maybe there's more to this. These remarks, in fact, came despite Mourinho's side Fenerbahce winning the match against Trabzonspor 3-2. The victory came 12 minutes into injury time. Now imagine what would have happened had Fenerbahce drawn or lost that game. But before we go there, let's look at what made Mourinho this furious. During the game, Trabzonspor was awarded 2 penalties, while Fenerbahce claim for a spot kick was waved away. And given how competitive Mourinho is, he wasn't amused with the refereeing decisions. So when his side won the match, he celebrated his side's victory like this. Right. The flair for the drama clearly showing in his celebratory poses as well. And this happy Mourinho took out his guns though when he went to the press conference afterwards. First, he blamed his own management, Fenerbahce, for lying to him, and then attacked the Turkish league and called it below par.
Nobody abroad wants to watch the Turkish league. Who wants to watch this Turkish league abroad? Why should they see this? It's too grey, it's too dark, smells bad.
Mourinho launching into a full-blown attack of the Turkish league because when Mourinho joined Fenerbahce, he was given the grandest of welcomes, an unveiling bigger than what many footballers get. That was the aura Mourinho walked in with. He even promised to increase the standard of not just his club but also the league. And not too long ago, this is what Mourinho thought playing in Turkey looks like.
My training ground is in Asia. I leave here and travel to the other side. It's not dramatic. It's less time than I used to do from London to Cobham. And if one day I am unlucky and something is wrong on the bridge, I get the boat to the other side. It's 8 minutes and then another 10 minutes to the training ground.
Mourinho went from being happy of enjoying the best of two worlds to hating the league just because of their appalling standards. Not the first time Mourinho has expressed his frustration in this regard. He put a laptop in front of the camera during Fenerbahce's 2-0 win at Antalyaspor to prove that the referees made a wrong call. Classic Mourinho's way of showing dissent. Although Mourinho was booked for his act, it did not stop his rant. What's interesting to note here is that these are the fixtures Fenerbahce still ended up winning. Would Mourinho's reactions have been more severe had they lost those matches? Because we know how competitive Mourinho is. This is the same Mourinho who was banned by UEFA for 4 matches during his stint with Roma after he confronted English referee Anthony Taylor post the Europa League final, a game his side lost to Sevilla. The charge related to an incident in a car park after the game, when Mourinho directed a foul-mouthed rant at Taylor. Maybe the Turkish league is yet to discover that side of Mourinho, because for the Portuguese, the biggest thing that matters is victory. And no matter how many trophies he's won, all he aspires to do is add some more silverwares to his trophy cabinet. And this is just the start. With half of a season still left, it would be interesting to see who all face the special wrath of the special one. Despite all the controversies and criticisms surrounding women's tennis season-ending finale WTA Finals, the tournament still got underway in Saudi Arabia's Riyadh. All top seeds, including Iga Swiatek, Coco Gauff, Aryna Sabalenka, all taking part in this mega tennis event, retrading Saudi's dominant takeover of major sports. And while many star players like Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova have been vocal in their dissent towards the Saudi ambition in women's tennis, particularly the current world number 3 Coco Gauff came out in strong support of this move.
I am obviously very aware of the situation here in Saudi. My view on it is that I do think sport can have a way to open doors to people. So hopefully with that, people see us and see what we represent. And hopefully that will enact more equality. If I felt uncomfortable or it felt like nothing's happening, then maybe I probably wouldn't come back.
She basically says the WTA Finals may be a blessing for women's sports in the oil-rich nation. Gauff's comment reflects what athletes feel about the tournament in Saudi, that the country is helping the sport grow and possibly inspiring more women to take up the sport in the country. Even as the term sports washing is continuously doing the rounds, and I understand these sentiments though, women athletes are earning more than what they would have had WTA Finals not moved to Saudi. Unlike the previous edition, Saudi is now offering a crazy cash prize of $15.25 million in this season-ending edition. It comes at a time when women athletes the world over are battling for pay parity. But what does the ground reality in Saudi really say? Is there a discord there? This is the same country where a young fitness instructor is languishing in a Saudi prison. Earlier this year, 30-year-old Manahel Al-Otaibi was sentenced to 11 years in jail. The trial was a secret one, but she was allegedly sentenced for her social media posts relating to women's rights and the choice of clothing. Manahel's posts included advocacy for liberal dress codes for women in addition to LGBTQ rights. Manahel's sister, Faza Al-Ataibi, also was targeted for similar viewpoints. She narrowly evaded her own arrest by flying to Bahrain, but feels Manahel isn't safe in Saudi.
She was very afraid, but was strong enough to tell us about the incident and what happened despite their threats to try to keep her silent. I believe they are punishing and torturing Manahel because they are unable to punish me. She told us that if communication is interrupted again next week, then it means they have punished her for telling us about everything that happened.
So if the fitness instructor is jailed and facing the wrath for her views on human rights and her dress code, I'm not really sure how budding athletes will be able to take up tennis in the country just as freely. The thing to note here is Goff claimed that she spoke to Princess Rima Bandar Al Said about the LGBTQ rights, and that conversation made Goff believe that the country is making progress. But there is a clear disconnect between Saudi's ambitions in the sporting world and what the ground reality truly is. Meanwhile, Saudi is steadfastly spreading its wings. We are speaking about tennis. They have appointed Rafael Nadal as the ambassador of that sport in the country. They recently organized a tournament named Six King Slams, which featured all top stars: Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. All of this even as Saudi is continuing to whitewash records of exploitation of migrant workers in their preparation for the 2034 FIFA World Cup. That's what many right-wing groups and activists claim. Even when Saudi hosted their first ever Grand Prix in 2021, they organized concerts and events to shift all focus from human rights abuse and put all attention on the grandeur of the Grand Prix. Saudi is using calculated measures to make sure that they mute the criticism by ensuring the growth of the sport happens, and that the financial boost it is getting is what many pay attention to. Like at the WTA Finals as well, Coco Gauff's statement, I'm sure, makes many believe that Saudi will take women's tennis to the next levels. But will that really translate to a massive change for the women athletes in Saudi? November is going to see quite a few sporting battles, and the one that's got many world over excited is the World Chess Championship face-off between China's Ding Liren and India's Di Gukesh. For a few months now, Ding Liren's career has taken a bit of a nosedive. Contrastingly, his opponent, Di Gukesh, has seen dizzying heights, one win after the next. In fact, Gukesh has already roped in a mental conditioning coach, Paddy Upton, to help him prepare for this challenge. The irony? Liren is facing the heat. He has openly admitted recently that he is worried about losing badly to the Indian prodigy. What has Liren's troublesome journey been like, and will he be able to get his act together and turn the tide round for the final showdown? Take a look.
Di Gukesh and Ding Liren are gearing up for the World Chess Championship finale. The duo will compete in a 14-match day competition in Singapore later this month. But is the quest to be crowned the world champion an even one? Because the build-up to the mega finale has been quite different for the two finalists. On one hand, Gukesh is high on confidence given his impressive run through the year. And on the other, Liren has already put his sword down and is worried about an embarrassing loss.
I'll be the underdog approaching this match. I'm worried about losing very badly. Gukesh is in top form recently. He's the best player in the Olympiad. I hope I can become a totally different player. At least to fight, to slow down his pace, to have some winning chances.
Given the kind of form Gukesh is in, he is the favourite walking into the tournament. The 18-year-old dominated the Candidates Tournament and the Chess Olympiad earlier this year, which made prominent voices feel that Gukesh will become the youngest to be crowned world champion. And Liren himself is accepting that he is the underdog. That too just days before the intense showdown. This just goes to show the mental state the current world champion is in. Lashed came back after a long break due to mental fatigue earlier this year. And following his comeback, he isn't the same force that he once was. Lashed is in the middle of what he calls his longest unwinning streak. The Chinese player hasn't won a classical game since the Tata Steel event in the Netherlands at the start of 2024. And more than the results, it's the mental barrier that Lashed is stuck in. In many ways, the mental roadblock is responsible for the slump the current world champion is experiencing, something even world number 1 Magnus Carlsen has highlighted.
I think people realize that the World Championship is a very tough thing. What I think happened with Ding is that he has not completely recovered from that World Championship yet. You can sense when Ding plays that he is lacking confidence. He's apprehensive in his play.
It's not just confidence that Lashed is lacking in his game. He's also showing all the signs of a lack of interest and frustration because of the results this year, which has the world champion down in the dumps.
Maybe I'm not so eager to play. I don't have this ambition to win the game. Every time I came to the playing hall, maybe I was not in a very good mood. And after the game, especially if I drew the game, I realized I missed a huge chance. I'm not so happy with the results. This goes in a circle from time to time.
Lashd's season is exactly the opposite of how Gukesh's career is shaping up to be. The Indian Grandmaster is on the upward trajectory, working on every aspect of his game, converting those wins into confidence and adding more tactics with each game. Gukesh is leaving no stone unturned in his quest to become the world champion. He has even hired mental coach Paddy Upton to strengthen the psychological aspect of his game. The South African coach was part of India's cricket team which won the World Cup in 2011, and Upton has a long history of being involved with Indian athletes. He was part of India's hockey team which won a bronze medal in the recent Paris Olympics. With Upton's rich experience, he stands to be the right coach to help Gukesh prepare for the crunch moments at the World Championship. Combined with his winning streak and Upton's coaching, Gukesh's Chinese counterpart has a lot to worry about. Confident, composed Gukesh is ready to walk out and face Lashed with more tricks than we've ever seen before. The only silver lining for Lashed is the fact that his last win came in a tournament where he beat Gukesh. But will the memory of that victory be enough to inspire an underconfident Lashed? Because Gukesh won't go easy on him. The Indian is looking for redemption. Gukesh is coming for the historic title to cap off an already amazing year.
That wraps it up here on Firstpost today. I'll see you again tomorrow, of course, but for now, do take care. Bye-bye. But it's a completely different story on the betting market.
Elon Musk, the tech visionary who is backing Donald Trump.
In New York, the Dow Jones and Nasdaq dropped over 3%.
Joining Putin in flexing muscle is his dear friend Xi Jinping.
The U.S. law calls for a presidential poll to be held on the Tuesday.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I like that.